Greetings of the day. Welcome to the HR session again. Today, in my session, I am going to cover attitude, types of attitude, and the various models of the attitude. 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 So, what is attitude? Attitude is a psychological tendency expressed when we evaluate particular entity with some degree of favor or disfavor. So we respond favorably or unfavorably towards many things like animals, co-workers, own appearance, or the politics. So attitude are closely linked to behavior and to the integral part of the word of the work, where the managers they complain, for example, about the workers with the bad attitude or with the positive attitude, or with they on the basis of their code of conduct. So attitude adjustment talks are there, whereas in case if we talk about the poor performance attributed, they are attributed to the bad habits, and they really stem from the lack of motivation, minimum feedback, lack of trust, and the another problem. So managers they should understand the antecedent of towards the attitude as well as their consequences. Managers they need to understand different components of the attitude, how the attitudes are from major attitudes which affect the work behavior, how to use the persuasion to change the attitude. These are really very important to understand, right? So now attitude may be supportive, it may be hostile, it may be passive, right? So then these are the points. It may be of many types, so these are the points which we are supposed to understand. More so if I say what is attitude, it is closely linked to the behavior, integral part of the work. It is a psychological tendency expressed by evaluating an entity with some degree of favor or disfavor. It may be positive attitude, maybe negative attitude. So positive attitude and negative attitude is in the terms that negative attitude is indicating towards poor performance, lack of motivation on the basis of their feedback, or the lack of trust, and vice versa in case of the positive attitude. So these are positive attitude and the negative, or you can say the bad attitude. So on these basis we can easily identify our attitude. Okay, so this is the point. Another is that after all, what is the attitude, or what are the components involved in it? On the basis of the ABC model, that is an effective behavioral cognitive model, A represents to effective, B is for behavioral, and C is for cognitive model. Cognitive, so all these, the plus of A plus B plus C, that is ABC model, which enable us to understand what is the attitude and how to understand the attitude on the basis of this perspective. When we can break the attitude in the basis of these three components, means you always understand this point, or you are able to recognize that individual doesn't have an attitude until he or she responds to particular person or object or situation or issue. So these are on the basis of A, B, and C. So these components, that is effective, behavioral, and cognitive, these components affect behavioral intentions and cognition. They are composed to frame, they are composed and they enable us to call ABC model of the attitude. So A, affective, affect the emotional component, that is the emotional component of the attitude. And it is the emotional component of attitude. Definitely it refers to individual feelings about something or someone, and like I like this, I prefer that. So this is your effective component. It is measured by physiological indicators like your blood pressure, like the emotional changes in the behavior. Okay, so these are physiological arousals. Second component, that is the intention to behave in a certain way towards any object, towards any person. So our attitudes towards the woman, for example, in management, we say maybe it inferred from the observing the way we treat the female supervisor, and that is, we may be supportive, passive, or hostile, right, as I said in the previous slide. So it depends upon our attitude. The behavioral component of the attitude is measured by, observing the behavior, by asking the person about the behavior or the intention. The third one, that is cognitive, that is, the third component is attitude, thought, which reflects to a person perception or the beliefs. So cognitive elements, they are the evaluation of beliefs measured by the attitude or scales, or by asking about the thoughts. Okay, so this statement, for example, if I believe in the Japanese workers are the industrious, okay, which simply reflects or indicates the cognitive component of an attitude. Or if I say I believe only the women workers are very sincere rather than men, this belief or this reflects to the cognitive component of the attitude. So the ABC model, basically it shows that we must assess all the three components to understand an attitude. If you think, or if you try to understand the example that you want to evaluate your employee attitude towards the flexi time, so we are supposed to determine that how they feel about flexi time or about work from home, that means affect. So whether they would use the flexi time or work from home, this is behavior intention. And what they think about the policy, this policy, that is cognitive, okay, or cognition. So this common model of the attitude measurement or the attitude scale, it measures only the cognitive component. So this is important to understand. Then we have the cognitive dissonance, which is really very important and which we use in our daily walk of life too. So the cognitive dissonance means the kind of a tension which is produced by the conflict between the attitude and our behavior, that is cognitive dissonance. So people, they prefer this consonance. The consonance means consistency between attitude and behavior, and anything which disturbs the consistency causes tension, causes friction, that is dissonance. So which motivates the individual to change their attitude, change their decision, change their behavior, or to maintain the consistency, then that becomes cognitive dissonance. So if I can give you a very small example and daily use example, if the salesman is supposed to sell the damaged televisions or LED for full retail price without revealing the damage to the consumer, so he believes that this is unethical, right? So this creates a conflict in the attitude, okay, that concealing the information and behavior of selling the LED or TV. On the another side, the salesman, uncomfortable with the disconsonance, with try to solve the conflict, he might change his behavior by refusing to sell the defective LED, and he might rationalize that the defects are very minor, he won't be harmed, so this is not a cheating. So that is also eliminating the tension from the cognitive dissonance. Or you may take the example of yourself or ourselves, that once we purchase something and after that we came across that whatever we purchase, that is a wrong decision, we must try more, or we are supposed to buy some another product. So after purchasing and sort of a repent, or sort of rethinking about that particular product, that is also a part of cognitive dissonance. Okay, so next is Then is what is attitude formation, or how the attitude is formed. See, attitudes, they are learned. Our responses to the people, to the issues evolve over the time, and two major influences on the attitude, that is a direct experience or the social learning. So direct experience with something, strongly influence the attitude towards it. And how do you know that you like maths or do you like a biology? So you probably form the attitude from the experience of studying those subjects, or you probably, frame your attitude from the experience of the outsiders, means the indirect or experience, that is from the people who are actually studying, and on the basis of that you frame your image, you frame the attitude, and you go ahead with that, right? Similarly is in case of purchasing of any product or anything. And in case if I talk about the social learning is somehow that is a family, peer group, religious organizations, the culture that shape an individual attitude indirectly. So children adopt, certain attitude when their parents reinforce the attitude they approve. So this is evident when young children express their political preferences similar to their parents. So peer pressure is somehow which mold the attitude through the group acceptance of the individual who express their attitude and their thorough sensations. So in this way you can go ahead with this social learning. In this social learning, make yourself very much clear, the culture also plays a very important role, because culture plays a definitive role in attitude development. For example, the contrast of your USA and North America, South America, so it is different. Okay, so in case if you talk about modeling, so social learning, it occurs through modeling, to which the individual acquire the attitude by observing the others. After overhearing the other individuals, they express their opinion, or watch them engaging a behavior that reflects the attitude, and where the observer, they adopt that kind of attitude. So this is also the part of social learning. So I had shared with you many parts, around about 4 or 5 factors which are actually the part of social learning, and which affects the social learning too. So all these, when I join the direct experience, indirect experience, and social learning, so on the basis of these three, an attitude is framed, and the attitude of any individual is formed. I hope this much is clear, and I will try to let you understand about the attitude and the behavior in my next session. Thank you. In case of any query, you can inform me. I am here to let you understand about that, and for any other lesson, if it is required, then please post me. Thank you for my understanding and for listening my session. Subscribe my channel though who haven't subscribed.